If you're pouring your heart into your podcast, but still struggling to turn those listeners into paying clients, I've got something just for you. Imagine having a clear, simple plan to turn your listeners into buyers without relying on a huge audience or spending hours on social media. That's exactly what we'll create together in a podcast profit plan discovery call. During this free 20-minute call, I'll help you discover more opportunities for profit in your podcast and give you the next best step to turn your show into a client attracting machine. If I've got an offer that will help you expedite this process, then we can also discuss working together. Book your free podcast profit plan discovery call now by going to podcastingformoms.co/profit plan or by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to chat with you. Before we go any further into this bonus mini-series, I want to start here because this matters. One-on-one podcast support is powerful, but it's not for everyone. And if you've ever felt guilty for wanting support or unsure whether you're ready for it, this episode's for you. So let's talk honestly about who one-on-one podcast support is for and who it's not. Welcome to Podcasting for Moms, the show for moms in business ready to start, grow, and scale a podcast that turns their listeners into buyers. I'm Jenny Sonoson, a podcast strategist and fellow mom entrepreneur. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to start and grow a podcast that attracts your ideal clients and really does the heavy lifting for you when it comes to selling your offers, all while balancing life as a busy mom. Are you ready to create a podcast that grows your income, impact, and influence? Let's make podcasting work for you, because as moms, we know how to get things done. All right, let's jump into the episode. Hey, and welcome back to Podcasting for Moms, the podcast for mom entrepreneurs looking to start, grow, and scale their podcasts in part-time hours. I'm your host, Jenny, and I'm a mom of two, a podcast and business mentor for moms, and your resident Swiftie. So first, I wanted to clear some things up. Needing support does not mean that you failed at DIY, you didn't try hard enough, or you're bad at podcasting. It usually means that you've reached a point where effort alone isn't the problem anymore, but structure is. So let's talk about who one-on-one podcast support is for. So number one, it is for podcasters who are done guessing. So if you're tired of wondering, is this episode even helping me grow? Am I focusing on the right things? Or why does this feel so scattered? Podcast support is for you. Support isn't about motivation, it's about direction. Podcast support is also for podcasters who value momentum over perfection. You don't need a rebrand, a new mic, or another course sitting unopened. You really need someone helping you move forward imperfectly but intentionally. One-on-one support is also for podcasters who want their podcast to support their business. So not just getting more downloads, not just being consistent, but having a podcast with clear message, with strategic episodes, and a podcast that actually leads somewhere and brings in clients or customers into their business. Support really helps you connect the dots and make sure that you're not just talking into the void, that you're actually being strategic with your show. And podcast support is also for moms who don't want podcasting to take over their life. So if your podcast feels like another invisible load, another thing living in your head, or another tab that's always open, that is a sign that you don't need more discipline, you just need systems and support. On the other side of things, who is one-on-one podcast support not for? And this part is actually just as important. So one-on-one podcast support is not for someone who wants a quick fix. Support doesn't mean you hand it off and you never have to think again. Support is collaborative, so you're still involved in the process, you're just not alone in the process. So one-on-one support is also not for someone who wants to skip the work entirely. You still need to record the episode, show up to conversations, and make decisions. Support removes friction, but it doesn't remove responsibility entirely. And it's not for someone who isn't ready to prioritize their podcast yet. So if your podcast is constantly the last thing on your list, then support isn't going to magically fix that. But if you're ready to give it a real seat at the table, then that is where support actually works. So the question I want you to sit with today is, instead of asking yourself, am I ready for one-on-one support? I want you to ask yourself, do I want to keep doing this alone? Because most podcasters don't quit due to the lack of talent. They quit because of fatigue, isolation, and decision overload. Support isn't a reward for being perfect, it's just a tool for sustainability. So as we continue to move through the series, I want you to be listening with curiosity, not pressure. And if at any point you catch yourself thinking, I just want someone in my corner with this, that's usually a sign that you're ready to explore support. I'll talk more about what working with me one-on-one actually looks like a little bit later in the series, but for now, just notice what resonates and what feels heavy. We'll keep going from here. So our next bonus episode will be dropping on Wednesday, and then we'll still have our regular Thursday episode. So stay tuned for those. Thank you for tuning into Podcasting for Moms. I hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to make your podcast work smarter, not harder. If you love what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world and helps other moms in business find the show. For more tips, resources, and support, head to podcastingformoms.co. Remember, you're not just building a podcast, you're building your legacy. Until next time, friends.